Good afternoon, Humanities 101. How's everybody doing out there? I see a lot of people rolling in. Welcome, welcome. Um, I am Dr. Hazlett. I am your professor. This is Humanities 101. There are there are 8 different sections of this course. So you will see lots of students in here all at once. We have over 200 students taking this course this semester. Welcome. I hope that this course is beneficial to you in your studies and in your life in general. Because as we'll talk this semester, there are very few classes um, that have to do with you rather than have to do with what you learn or what you can show you've learned. And this is one of those classes that deals more with who you are and what potential you have as a human than anything. So welcome, welcome. I am Dr. Hazlett. I teach at the college in a bunch of different departments. I was originally hired as an English teacher. I helped create the humanities department. I ran that for a while, ran the honors college for a while. I've been at the school for 2 decades plus. And now I'm trying to innovate with humanities education and do something a little different. So again, if you are a little nervous about this course structure and how this course is running, it's okay. It's to be understood. I am trying to uh, combine the entertainment aspect of learning that we all do every day with the required aspect of learning that you have to do in order to get your degree. So we're going to try some different things this semester, learning in different ways, and experiencing some new things. So hopefully, again, you'll get out of this class what you put into it. Okay. So that's kind of just a general welcome, kind of an explanation of who I am. Um, Now, humanities, as far as a class, I know that probably a lot of you took this course because it was the first on the list. When you were told that as an engineer that you had to take a humanities class, you said, "What is that?" And they said, "Here's a list," and you said, "This is the class." Some of you may have sought out an individual class, you may have sought out an individual instructor, but for the most part, a lot of people don't really know what this class is about. And we're going to talk about that in more detail at the end of this month, February 29th. I'll be talking about the difference between the humanities and divinity and law and all this other kind of big picture stuff. Um, but it really is looking at who we are as people and how we have become who we are and the story we tell ourselves about who we are. So it's a little bit of history, it's a little bit of politics, it's a little bit of uh, art, psychology, sociology. It really encompasses everything. And people say, well, what about the hard sciences as well? They're here too, because that is partially how we understand ourselves as humans. Is some of us even more so than others through that lens of science. So we're going to talk about how those affect our view of ourselves. We talk about social Darwinism in political science and in sociology, and science has had a direct effect on how we see ourselves as humans. So we'll be talking about that as well. And I always say that we're looking at the stories and the narratives, right? Um, how we think of who we are. Okay, so we're going to go a little bit more in depth in that this semester, and we're going to be utilizing an exploration of self, the midterm, and an exploration of society, the final, in order to do so. Okay, so we're going to start in the micro with your own personhood. And for the midterm, if you haven't checked it out, you're proving that you're human. You're taking a modified Turing test, and you're going to be explaining kind of how you know you're not a robot. Okay. And again, this is serious, but it's also tongue in cheek. So you can have a little fun with that. I have a lot of students that have fun with that. Um, the final will be looking at the way in which we can accommodate for more individuals in the mass, in society. So all of these assignments are already posted on humanities101.org/assignments. You can go to the class link, and in all of those, there are 3 pages that are connected to the class. There's the sign up page, which most of you have already been to. There's the assignments page, and there's a submission page. The assignments page has everything you need. It has the lecture dates. It has the midterm details. I have not posted the final project details because I don't post those until after midterm time. I don't want people putting the cart before the horse. There's method to this, and I want you to think about yourself before you start thinking about society. So the midterm, then the final. The assignment details are up there. The lecture schedule for these lectures is up there, and they're all different times. It's okay. We'll talk about that here. But all of that information is up on the website right now. You can always email me um, uh, through the college website or the college email or the email through my website. Both of those are secure. They're kind of the same way. They route through the same system. Um, so again, everything is protected and secured there. That again will allow you to access that from your cell phone from anywhere, and not have to worry about the trouble of proving and validating submission. And so when you do work on your assignments, people ask, "How do I turn them in? How do I turn them in?" If you go to the submission page, there is a form that you will enter in your information, and you will enter in a URL link. That URL link can be to a private YouTube video. It could be to a Google Drive video that you've given me access to. It could be to a public video. That's fine. But you're giving me access to your video, okay? Whether it be on a public platform or a private platform. And that is how you're turning in your assignments. You keep your material. You do not submit it. I do not keep a copy of it. And that way you control who sees it, when it's seen, all of that other stuff. Okay. Because I know some people are worried about submitting or posting videos online. Some people have even said they're, because of the fact that they're still a high school student, they're not allowed to by family rule or whatever. I understand. It's not, you do not have to be on camera. Okay. If you are on camera and it's a private video, I'm the only person that's going to see it by law. I'm the only person that's going to see it. Um, but if you want to not be on camera, there are a number of ways that you can create a video without being on camera. Um, Animations, flash animations, AI animations, pictures, graphs, charts. I've even had students who have screenshotted as they're scrolling through their paper or what they wrote or their presentation. It's not a paper, but their document that they wrote the presentation on. And they had Speechify using Snoop Dogg's voice to read it. So there are many, many ways to be creative and not have to be on camera. Okay. So you will see lots of different examples. Um, People are asking about examples. There are examples out there right now. If you go on YouTube or into TikTok and you look at Humanities 101 midterm, you look at that hashtag, you're going to find examples of the midterm already posted. Okay. And again, and this is a kind of a somewhat famous test. So there are people answering these questions in various parts of society as well. So all of that information is there. The submission page is there. You will basically that will give you control of all your information and all your videos. So if you are a huge creator and you're like, look, I want to leverage that, and I'm going to make this awesome video, but it's only going to stay up for Hazlet until March, and then I'm going to take it down. As soon as he grades this thing, I want this thing taken down. You can do that. You have complete control. Okay. And I think that that's very important, and that's something that I personally believe in. That students should have control over their intellectual property, and that includes possession, in my mind. So the assignments are all posted there, and again, so check out the website humanities101.org/assignments. All right. And the submission page, if you go to the sitemap, anywhere, and this is something that we did because some of us who work in the foundation that I run, Humanities 101 Foundation, we believe in utilizing old technology. And back in the 90s, the early days of the internet, there were these things called sitemaps, and they literally were menus before there were menus. So we created a sitemap, and so if you click on the sitemap, it will give you a link of all of the various parts of the website. And the parts that you're interested in are the parts under class, assignments, resources, and submission. Okay. The assignment section, there's already a link to the course text, which is academic ableism. And the submission page, when you click on that, it takes you to just a page that says, let's work together. And then it's got a little form that you fill out where you enter in the URL and your information. Okay. Um, so that information is there. I'm going to take a look at the chat here, see if there's any questions that I can answer immediately before I go on. I'll talk about participation, how you gain access or uh, points in participation, and then I'll answer any other questions. All right. So, and the questions about the assignments, are the assignments based on the book? Yes. The final will be based on both the midterm, what you created and wrote for your midterm, and the textbook, academic ableism. Now, I want you to note, though, please note that because we are talking about academic ableism, this book is a free e-text. You do not have to pay for the text. Some people may want to buy a copy. I like having books in my hand. I have a couple copies of this book. Okay. Um, excuse me. However, you do not need to purchase it. There's a free e-text. You can download the PDF. You can upload it to your reader, a Kindle if you have that. There is also a free audio text. So if you follow that link and then there's a little box that says download on that page, the University of Michigan has made this text available to you free and open source. That's part of this whole making the world accessible for all thing. Okay. Is the fact that if it's behind a $50 paywall, it makes it hard for someone who has to choose eating over learning to learn. And just so you know, eat and then learn because your body needs to eat in order to learn. Okay. So the book, again, Academic Ableism, it is on the website. If you go to the assignments page, excuse me, take a sip of my coffee here. If you go to the assignments page at the very top, it says grading. And over to the left of it, again, if you're on a desktop, if you're on a phone, you're going to see you're going to see it in more of a structured sandwich pattern. But you're going to see a link that says click here for free course text. And then it has a picture of J. Timothy Dolmage's book, Academic Ableism. If you click on that, that will send you to the download page. Okay. And the download page then will have all the information and the book that you can download, and you can begin reading. We're going to get to that text in March. But again, there's method to my madness. There's reason why I'm talking about it now and giving you a month to read it before we talk about it. I want you to take some time with this, look at this book and make some reflection, because it doesn't just talk about academic ableism. It talks about racism in the academic system, classism in the academic system. It talks about some very, very poignant history lessons for this month, which is Black History Month. And talks about the reason that you will see orphanages and asylums almost near every state university. And again, if you know the history of the medical institutions, gynecology, all this other stuff, you know that this is often wrought in a sexist, misogynist, racist, history. It just is. You can't deny that. So Dolmage deals with this in the realm of college. And so he talks about the ivory tower, he talks about the ramp, and then he talks about universal education. Okay, so he talks about three different things. Uh, this place is not for you. This place is for you, but not all of you. And then let's really make this place for everyone. Okay, um, so uh, so you can check out the book there. And again, people are asking about length. I can't really answer that question because I don't know how you're going to devour it. Are you going to be listening? Are you going to be reading on an e-text? Are you going to be reading? So yes, that's the answer. How long is it? Hmm. Okay. Um, so let's see, and you'll notice that there are some people in the chat answering questions as the questions come up. I like to read a lot, and producer Shy. Those are trusted sources for class answers. All right. Hopefully, we can get to a point where we are answering each other's questions and we have a community of learning. But they are part of that community of learning. Okay, they are my trusted compatriots. And again, they are people that know this course and this material inside and out. And so they are people that can also answer those questions, and that they're here to help me and accommodate me during these video lectures, right? Because I can't possibly always stay on track and answer questions. So I'm learning too, because I'm used to a classroom where I can, say, "Are you looking at me? Pay attention." Eye contact. But we don't do that anymore. Okay, different world. Um, so let's see. So I talked about the submissions. I talked about assignments, participation. People have asked about participation, and this again, if you go to the assignments page, there is a discussion. There's a big section about participation. There are lots of ways to participate. Some people feel very comfortable participating in the chat here. I see a lot of you, and that's great, right? There are people, though, who are not here live, and they will be watching this video on a recorded portion of the class. And they can participate in the discussion too. Because again, when we make comments, uh, in the chat, people will respond to them. They may make comments about our comments as they're watching the video, right? And so these conversations continue. And even if you go on to onto this platform and other platforms, and you see videos from 10 years ago, you will see comments from 10 minutes ago, where people are still engaging with this content and still discussing this. So this is how you can engage on this page within Humanities 101. You can engage in any of the content, right? Um, carry on a conversation. You can participate during these live lectures by commenting. The other way is by engaging in asynchronous discussions or discussions that happen on social media outside of this time. So some people already are carrying on these conversations in on TikTok or on Snapchat, Instagram, these kinds of things. So you are not required to utilize those, but that's another way, and that's where you utilize hashtags. So if you hashtag Humanities 101 or hashtag micro accommodation, Humanities 101, midterm, Humanities 101 final, Humanities 101, and micro accommodation, those kinds of things, I'll be able to find it. It's 21st century. I can search Google for the hashtags and pull up everything that used. This is why I utilize Humanities 101 midterm and micro accommodations as a hashtag, because they're unique. And they're unique enough that I can find you. Okay. And so there are students that have already come into TikTok lives, and we've been talking about this stuff. All right. Again, I'm not expecting everyone to come in all the time. And I know some of you said, I don't use TikTok, and that's fine. You use Twitch, but you don't use YouTube. That is why we're streaming right now to LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and Twitch. And as soon as I, set up the connections, we'll be back on Facebook. But I had to change that page. So you can watch this anytime, anywhere, from any place. Okay. Um, but again, if you get on right now and you check out the hashtag, if you search the hashtag Humanities 101 midterm, you're going to see examples. So people keep asking me to send you examples. I don't need to send you examples. Examples are out there already in the world. Go find them. If you wanted to see what time the game starts on Sunday, what would you do? You would Google it. You would ask your smart speaker. You would do something like that. That's what I want you to do. I want you to equip yourself to learn. I have put it out there. Go find it. I'll help you find it. I'll answer your questions, but I'm not going to hand it to you. Okay. So that, that's something that as a teacher, I think it's important that I facilitate learning, and be there with you in the journey, which is why I will learn from you this semester as well. But I can't be the gatekeeper of that because this is humanities 101. How could I, one person, gatekeep this entire subject, right? I learn every day about humans. I learn about new normals every day. I love being surprised. I doubly love being proven wrong because it's surprise and humility all at once. I mean, it's great. So we're going to be learning together. So feel free to send messages, to communicate with me. We can even have discussions in Google Meet. If people want to get together in a large group, in a small group. If one of you, some of you have already met with me on Zoom, that's fine as well. If a group of you want to meet with me on Zoom, we can do that. I want to try to meet you where you are when you are. And it doesn't just have to be, during school time. As you'll see, some of the lectures are outside of school time, and some people are worried about that. Some people have class right now and they're not here. That's okay. The learning can happen when you come to it. All right. Um, People are asking about checking grades. I'll be sending email reports of midterm grades and final grades, and those will have what you need, right? So you'll get a midterm grade report with your midterm participation score and your midterm grade, and then you'll get an updated participation score in between the midterm and final, and then you'll get your final grade at the end of the semester. Okay. Again, partially what I do um, is kind of prepare you for also transferring, and you will have classes out there that are just 2 grades, a midterm and a final. This class is not that because participation is how I can help you out. But I want you to know that this is a real possibility in college, that your entire grade is dependent upon 2 tests or 2 essays. People are asking, other than YouTube, where else should we follow you? If you go to Humanities 101, the humanities101.org, there is a series of um, links. There's the Instagram link. There's a LinkedIn link. I really would suggest that as far as like conversationally, casually, I'm on YouTube a lot. We do a lot of body doubling on you, or not YouTube, sorry, on TikTok. We do a lot of body doubling on TikTok, where I will be working on classwork and stuff and just go live in the morning checking my emails. So that's a great way to catch me for a quick question. So, that's always a possibility. But people ask, how do I join a Zoom or whatever? We've got to schedule something, right? Because there aren't scheduled times for this class beyond the lectures. You need to contact me, send me an email and say, hey, I've got some time next week. Send me a couple times and say, can we meet for a Zoom one of these 3 times? I'll send you a link and say, yes, let's meet at this time. Okay. It'll be much easier for you to send me times that you're available. Then I can work around that schedule. Again, I want to meet you where you are. My schedule is pretty open. Okay. And people ask, how do I grade the midterm, right? These are videos. How are you grading? I am looking that you address the questions first off. Okay. So I'm looking for the information and that you attempt to address the questions. And I'm also looking at that you attempt to address these questions in an entertaining and informative fashion. Now, granted, this is about you. So a lot of this midterm is just going to be probably you getting comfortable with discussing your ideas. And so this one is mainly going to be graded, the midterm, on if you answer all the questions and if you give me an explanation, not just um, what was your favorite childhood experience when I went to the park? and then never explain what happened at the park and why it is your favorite childhood experience. Okay, I am looking for the what and the why. So as long as you're explaining the what and the why on the midterm, um, and some people have asked, I can't do this all in one video. That's fine. Do separate videos. You could submit a Google Drive, or a folder of videos. That's fine. And again, people ask, how do I do that? Yeah, I can help you. We can talk about it. I'll have a TikTok about it. Like we could have a TikTok live where we sit and we go through and we do it. But I would also suggest look it up. Look at a YouTube video. Look at it. Google it. Bing it. Whatever. But how do I make a video private? That's and as an old original pioneer of the internet, that's how we learned all this stuff. I always say that the first time you screw up in any program and you drop an F word because you've screwed up, that's your brain telling you to hit F1 because F1 is the help button. F1 will call up the help feature. So the first time you say the F word, hit the help and then type in, how do I make this video private? Because that's how I learn everything. I honestly often will learn it from you guys. I had a student come to me 18 months ago and said, you got to check out this chat GPT thing. And now I just go down the rabbit hole all the time on that. So again, I learn more. We learn more if we're listening and paying attention to each other than if we're literally being spoon fed or even force fed this information. If we seek it out, we'll remember it because we remember the journey to find the information, which then helps. You will find that I tell lots of stories when we get into lecture, and the reason why I do that is so that your brain remembers the story, and then you remember the fact. You remember Hazlett's crazy story about X, Y, and Z. Oh, but that was when the battle of Milvian Bridge was, or X, whatever. I'm not going to be asking you about dates of the Battle of Milvian Bridge. Okay, but I'm just using it as an example. So, how often do I go live on TikTok? My wife would say too much, but usually, roughly, daily, if not every other day. I usually pop on for some time on the foundation page because on the foundation page I'm trying to normalize this universal learning thing. So I'm usually on there again, often just checking email, writing grants, grading stuff. I will not, just so you know, because people will worry about this. I do not grade your videos on YouTube or on TikTok or anything, right? Because there's audio involved, there's identifying information. I don't grade that kind of stuff, on a TikTok. If I am literally clicking files or doing data entry, that's when I'll go live and listen to music. And again, it's just a way to stay open for communication. It's kind of like if I were sitting in my office on campus. It's just an easy way to connect. Um, the mic, I don't know. The mic is the mic cutting off? I keep coming back. Whoa. I'm trying to see. Yep, and I addressed the social media thing. I understand that some people can't utilize it, but again, um, you can submit all of this work without having social media handles. That's just how I can know who you are when you're out and about. It's not required of the course. Um, but again, I remind people that if we're dealing with humanities, there are going to be things in here in this college course that may not go well in your personal homes. Um, but I have to be honest with you. My job is to prepare you for the world and prepare you for humans in the world, not to prepare you for your house. So if you want a class that's going to prepare you for your microcosmic existence, this is not that course. Okay. And I don't want anyone to feel unwelcome, but I want to be honest and I want to be open. That we may deal with things that you even find disturbing or off-putting. In the academic ableism book, you're going to learn how we figured out exactly how much candy you can have before your teeth fall out. You're going to find out how we know exactly how many calories you can have before you die from starvation because those tests were run on real people, right? And so uh, these are things that might disturb people, but they're what happened. And there are things that we as humans do to each other. And I think some of the most dangerous things that humans can do is convince ourselves that we could never do what they do. We can never be as bad or as evil as that other person because that's them. We're different. Because the minute we start doing that, that's when we will start doing that stuff that they do in the name of I know better. Right? So that I think that that's one of the big parts of my job in teaching narrative is and in teaching humanities is teaching the fact that or I guess communicating that fact that there is no normal in this world and that there is no real ultimate understanding in an objective sense of what we can say is purely good and purely evil. Okay, and notice that I added that term "pure," right? Because even the best person in the world has faults, and the worst person in the world has some redeeming qualities. All right, so now that I've gone off on that soapbox, um, okay, so let me look here, see if there are any other questions or comments that I need to deal with. Um, Yeah, okay, and the questions are coming through, and again, the answers are coming through. There's a submission page, that's how you'll answer everything, and if you're just now joining and you have questions, more than likely, because we've covered lectures, participation, assignments, submissions, all of that stuff in the last half hour, your question has been answered, and so I would suggest to kind of, rewatch, go back and take a look at this. This is, again, one of the benefits of having a recorded class because you can say, Hazlet, you said X, Y, and Z. And I said, no, I didn't. You say, look at the tape, minute 12, right? Roll that beautiful bean footage. Um, so are there any other questions as far as the class, um, as far as just in general? Um, and while we do that, I want to ask a question of you. So if you're in the chat, please let me know how this is going. How are your other classes? How are are you figuring everything out? Are you need any help finding out anything? Any assistance? With where to go for what? Let me know, okay? Because I also used to do orientation at the college. I used to run the orientation program for all incoming first year students. So anything that I can help you with, again, I want to help you navigate the institution that is the college. Bio is killing you already, huh? Again, and I don't know if people are aware, but know that there's a learning lab with tutoring. There are students that tutor. I believe there might also be faculty that tutor up there. But yes, that is one of the ones that gets everyone. And I noticed that there are quite a few people that are saying, "Yeah, bio's getting me, bio's getting me." You may want to take note of that. Maybe send a message and say, "Hey, let's commiserate together." Because sometimes if you've got, if you both are even in a different class, right? Even with a different professor, if you're taking Bio 151, you're learning similar things and being able to explain them or ask questions of each other is beneficial. So again, this is one of those intangible things that they never talk about in college. But gaining a network and gaining future colleagues and future friends is one of the things that college is about. So talking with people. And so the question came up, what bio are you taking? So which bio is kicking our butts? CIS is 50-50. Yeah, that usually CIS classes are usually kind of going that way. Let's see. I want to scroll up here and see if there were any other questions or comments about classes or any, I don't know where the food is on campus, that kind of stuff. Because I'll happily, okay, so we're taking Bio 233. So that looks like the class that's getting everybody. What class is that? Is that, no, that's chemistry. What are you doing, Hazlet? All right, here we go. What is Bio 233? Oh, new comment. Ooh, oh yeah, AMP. Oh God, yeah. All right, yes. So just so you know, Bio 233 is anatomy and physiology. Any of you that are going to be in the medical field, you have to take this course. This is what is known as a gatekeeper course. Okay, now they won't use that term maybe in that class, but in the college world, this is known as a gatekeeper course. And this is a course that is used to weed out people who have what it takes to be in this field and they don't have what it takes to be in this field. In undergrad medical, pre-medical, A&P, anatomy and physiology, and inorganic chemistry or organic chemistry are the ones that hit you. Okay, those are the ones that always get everybody. Organic chemistry and anatomy and physiology. So there are tons of resources out there for A&P. There are tons of online resources. There are tons of study guides. There are even Spotify playlists with songs so that you can memorize parts of the nervous system. So please make sure that you utilize those resources. And if you need any help finding them, let me know. Okay. Yep. And I see people taking organic chemistry right now and they're saying, yep. Okay. And people have been saying, that they send emails and they don't get a response. One of the ways in which you can expedite a response sometimes is by utilizing the CC function in the email. That is what is known as a carbon copy. That's back to the old days when we used to literally have carbon sheets, right? And it would let you know that a carbon copy was made. I would suggest that if you go more than a week, or especially 2 weeks, if you go 2 weeks and you're taking an online class or something and you've sent an email and you haven't heard back from the instructor, and you send follow-ups, right, and you hear nothing, I would suggest sending a follow-up with a CC, and CCing the associate dean of that school. There's a school of liberal arts, there's a school of nursing, there's a school of what else? Trades, right? There are all these different schools. You can Google what school is this professor in, and it will have their school listed there. And you could also then ask who is the associate dean of that school, and all you have to do is CC him on it. You don't even have to address it. You just have to let the professor know you need to answer my email. Your boss knows that you're not answering my emails. So, and if you really are worried about that and you want to CC somebody on it, CC me on it. ahazlett@hfcc.edu. You can CC me on it, and at least they'll know that one of their colleagues. Yes, it's probably a drop-down option. People ask, is CC an option on our Hawkmail? Yes, it's probably a drop-down option. It'll say 2, and then there's probably a little drop-down menu, and you have to click on it to get the CC or the BC. But don't use the BC. That's a blind copy. You want to use the CC. You want people to know. You show your cards and you say, I am letting people know that you're not answering my emails. So, yes. And again, that's the kind of stuff. That's why I ask these questions, so that I can help you navigate the world that is college. Okay. And if you have questions like this and you're like, look, I don't want to ask that crap on YouTube, The professor might see me. Um, Again, you can always send me an email. We can meet on Zoom, that kind of stuff. All right. So I will happily help you navigate um, this institution because that's part of what this class is about. The last half of this class is going to be looking at ways in which college is not accessible, nor is it beneficial in some ways to the human. So, and we're the humans in that experiment. So, you guys, I definitely think you all, I guess I should say, um, definitely have a say in how we do that. So, and somebody says, "What do you write in the CC section?" You find out who that person's boss is, and that's who you put in that CC section. This works too when you're sending complaints to businesses about service and stuff like that. CCing people. It's not always a first line of defense, but it definitely is your last line sometimes. Okay, or even the middle line of defense. But yes, the CC is your friend, especially in the 21st century. Yes, and people have asked about, what you have to do. Again, if you signed up on the website and you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you are attending. I know the 12-week students are worried about being marked attending. I'm going to be dealing with that probably tomorrow. So if you have any questions or concerns, again, send them on. If you have any problems, issues, again, let me know. Even if it's I don't know where to go to get this answer, I'm happy to answer that question. Okay. Um, Again, I want to help not just in humanities class, but in your other classes as well, which is why we're starting now. That's why we're starting now because as some of you have already said, it's kicking my butt. This class is already kicking my butt. And so I didn't want to layer on while you were trying to figure out. I've been in this school game. Let's see, what am I? 46. Okay, so minus the carry the one. 40 years I have been in school, right? Since the time I was in kindergarten. I have not left. So I know how this institution works. And I've decided to not perpetuate some of those things. Okay. So our next meeting is on they're always on Tuesdays. Okay. And I try to make them the first Tuesday of every month, but with spring break, we have another one in 3 weeks. So on the 27th of February, we will have a lecture where I will be answering questions about the midterm and also be presenting to you just kind of a general overview of the humanities. Okay. Um, and so that will kind of present to you an idea of where this stands in the kind of grand pantheon of education, but it also provides a chance before the midterm, or sorry, before spring break, for you to ask questions about the midterm. Because I will be dead honest with you. Spring break is the 4th through the 8th of March, and a lot of you will forget you have a midterm until you come back from spring break on the 11th, and we don't have a lecture until after that midterm, I believe. Or maybe I made it on the 12th. Maybe I was nice. Was I nice and did that? Oh my gosh, I might. Hold on, let me check. I'm checking the schedule myself. Oh, wrong page. There we go. The date is classroom. Okay, the date is March 12th. So it is. So I've got 2 before the midterm. I am nice. Look at that. So the next one is on the 27th. We're going to be talking about humanities. And then on Tuesday, March 12th, I'll be answering any questions, any last minute questions about the midterm. So I do give you until after spring break. I am nice. I'm kidding. I know I did that in my brain for a reason. I just had forgot that I had done that until I looked at it just now. Then we have one on the 2nd of April and again on the 23rd of April. So again, all Tuesdays, there are different times. Some are at noon, some are at 6 p.m., some are at 4 p.m., some are at 9 p.m. You do not have to attend in real time. People ask, when can we turn in the midterm? You can start turning in the midterm March 1st. Okay. I just want to wait until after the next lecture, and then you can start turning in that midterm. Okay. Because if you'll notice, or if you have noticed on the submission page, that form isn't even updated yet. Because some of you, your class isn't even listed in the section. So I will make sure that I update that this week, so that it'll be updated for March 1st, and you can then start submitting then on March 1st. Okay, any other final questions before we go? And again, I've covered participation. If you didn't catch that answer, you can go back and take a look there. It's also on the website in assignments. All right. So again, you can contact me through the website. You can find me on social media. You can also send an email through the school email. All of your information again. Even if I see you on social media and I know your TikTok handle, but I know your real name, I am not going to call you by your real name. I'm not going to out that you're one of my students. If you want to, that's up to you. That is all you. Okay. Your secrets are safe with me. I understand how the 21st century works. Even if we were in physical class and you said, I want you to call me DJ Cool X, I would call you freaking DJ Cool X. I have no problem with that. Okay. So I will call you by the name that you want me to call you. So again, have a great day. Good luck with the rest of your classes, with your courses. So again, I will see you out there. Spend this month. Again, get started doing the course reading, and as you're doing the course reading and you're reading the first couple chapters, they lend themselves to the midterm because it's talking about how we viewed humanity in the olden days. So this book is designed to step you through the midterm and final as well. Okay. So guys, have a great day. I wish you all the best. Stay warm out there, but it's not too hard today. And we'll see you at the end of the month. All right. Bye, everybody.